Here's why trying to please everybody is killing creativity in the video game industry. Salam, I'm Mustafa of Suburb Path. I worked at Treyarch in the past during the development of Black Ops 4, and I worked at Zwift, an indoor cycling game. I am also the sole developer of Nexus Defenders, which is a tower defense game currently available on Steam, and I'm currently working on Beware Tomorrow, which is a first-person stealth horror game coming soon on Steam. Add it to your wish list today. I recently saw a video by Tyler Edlin, who has a much bigger channel than myself, on the topic of toxic positivity is killing creativity in video games. I thought it was a pretty good video. I agree with just about all his points that he made. But as I was watching the video, I couldn't help but think of all the things that are killing creativity. So I wanted to make a series on the individual topics that are killing creativity in video games. Today I want to talk about not having an audience for your game, trying to please everybody. And in this case, I'm going to be focusing on Dragon Age Veilguard because it's hot on the algorithm right now. Anyways, there's so much to talk about this game that people are going to say, oh, you didn't say this, you didn't say that. And the reason why is because I'm only focusing on one thing. First of all, yes, I do agree that EA has been very sleazy with the way how they've been treating distribution, the review codes to only certain members of the access media. The way how they did it only makes the fans lose trust in their integrity on whether the game is getting honest reviews or not. I want to mention quickly is wokeness and DEI. Many people in the comments of my Concord video were angry. I didn't blame Concord's failure on wokeness. There was also some people who were angry that I didn't even say the word woke a single time. The reason why I will not blame problems on wokeness is because the word woke means nothing. Let me explain. I'll give some really quick examples. One person might think a game is woke because the pretty women are no longer pretty and thinks that's censorship. Another person thinks a game is woke because it forces negative stereotypes, also enforces victim mentality. Then another person on the other side will say, oh, you don't like games that have black people in it? And another person would say, oh, this series has always been woke. What are you complaining about? It's been woke since the 90s. All those people are using woke in a different way. They are using different definitions to describe what they're talking about. When a slang term has so many definitions, it means nothing. One thing I want to do with this channel, I want to address issues and I want to propose solutions. If the issue can't be described specifically, if you can't tell somebody an issue and they know what you're talking about, then you can't propose a solution. This is why it's very important to be specific, and this is why I avoid using the word woke, because it means nothing. That's why in my Concord videos, I was specifically talking about the visuals, the character designs. I was very specific as to what the issues were so that I can propose solutions. And this is one thing I want to always do. I want to be specific, and if I'm not specific enough, then I want to correct myself when my point is not coming across correctly. How is Dragon Age Veilguard killing creativity? In my last video, I talked about how corporations have a fiduciary responsibility to grow. A lot of these video game and tech companies boomed during the lockdowns because lots of people were spending money on their services. With this quick growth came more investors. These investors and stakeholders demand growth so that they can see a return on their investment. So that means a lot of these companies hired so many people. When you hire so many people and spend so much money on these bigger projects, the expected return on investment is even higher. So that's why they are spending so many hundreds of millions of dollars on these games and are expecting so much money back. With that said, they want to set a broader audience to sell more of these games. This isn't anything new though. Look at Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2. They tried to go for a broader audience with Dragon Age 2 by simplifying the combat, trade skills, and the RPG mechanics of the game. This led to Dragon Age 2 being a disappointment to the fans. RPGs are very mechanics heavy. RPG fans have certain expectations for their gameplay mechanics. And when you start simplifying and dumbing down the mechanics, you are abandoning your core audience for a completely different audience. A game for everyone is a game for no one. Or at the very least, a game for everyone is not going to be a game that you can easily fall in love with. So a couple of examples I want to look at real quick. First of all, FIFA. FIFA is extremely popular around the world. That's because they're going for a specific audience, soccer fans, football fans. They understand that people who like soccer might not be into video games. But a lot of people who are into soccer love FIFA because it's such a simple game to pick up and get into. They understand their core audience. Also, FIFA is extremely popular in places where it's not localized, such as the Middle East, where many games aren't localized. So you don't need to understand English to play the game. You can easily get in and start playing it. Another example is just about every Souls-like game by From Software. They know their audience. They know exactly what they want. That's why their fans really enjoy their games. They provide a challenging experience that's very satisfying once they have mastered the mechanics. And this is why fans are so defensive when people who aren't fans of the game, they see the fans enjoy the game so much, but then they say, I want that too. Make the game easier, add checkpoints, let me pause, let me do this. And the thing is, gameplay balance is very difficult. It takes a long time to balance a game, to get it just right, to make sure it's not too difficult, not too easy. And when they fine-tune a game like the Souls-like games, the fans don't want that recipe to be messed up. Leave it alone. It's perfect. It doesn't need to be changed. That's how the fans see the Souls-like games. And that's why they don't want it fixed. Don't fix something that's not broke. There are lots of Souls-like games that are much easier than the From Software games, but they are nowhere near as popular because a lot of those games are much easier and they're much simpler. They're more for a broader audience. Just in case you haven't watched the previous video, which you should, I want to give a quick update on Beware Tomorrow. So I had to change the Steam page. Make sure that you wishlist the correct Steam page. The old page is going to be removed within the coming days. I'm shooting for a November 11th release date. It's a first-person horror game where you're being hunted down as you try to escape the facility. It's going to be a very short experience, so I'm going to price it accordingly. Link will be in the description below. Understanding your core audience is a double-edged sword. On one hand, you want to fine-tune who your game is for. But on the other hand, if you fine-tune too much, you're going to have no audience at all, or at least a very small audience. Understand, not every audience is equal in size and enthusiasm. Also understand that certain things will turn off people. Certain themes, gameplay mechanics, visuals, aesthetics, music, the list goes on. This goes back to one of my older videos on whether art is subjective or objective. What is subjective is preference. And people have preference over all those things I just listed off. I have not played Dragon Age Veilguard myself. I don't plan on playing it. I'm not interested. From what I've seen, they tried to make a simplified RPG for a broader audience. They are adding themes that will turn off many people. Themes that are actually for a niche audience. And yes, I'm specifically mentioning the gender identity politics. Some people will be very happy that this is in the game, but a lot of people will be turned off that this even exists in the game because there is a large audience of people who don't want to be reminded about current day politics and they don't want anything to do with it. From articles that I've seen online, it seems like the lead director of the game really wanted it to be a big part of the game, and also it just comes across to me as if he wanted to make some sort of a dating sim. Now, dating sims exist, but dating sims have a very small niche audience. You can find lots of those games on Steam or itch.io. But to put it into a game that's supposed to be mainstream, that's supposed to have a large audience, that is a big risk. And I don't think it's paying off. And yes, I did see the video that's circulating about the character who starts lecturing about the usage of correct pronouns. I'm not going to show it because you've all probably seen it already. And I don't see any benefit of me showing you that clip. Many people will be turned off by that type of content within their fantasy RPG. I have also learned the hard way not to do these type of things of making your audience even smaller than necessary. In my game Nexus Defenders, it's a tower defense game. The tower defense genre has a very small audience. And I made that audience even smaller by making the game very heavily narrative focused. I want to tell stories in my games. But tower defense just isn't the genre to do that because tower defense fans have a certain expectation out of those games. And having a long story is not within those expectations. Check out Nexus Defenders on Steam right now. It's available. Link is in the description below. So as I wrap things up, I have tips for indie game developers like myself. First tip, define and prioritize your audience. Know who your primary players are and understand what their expectations are. Play games that are within your genre and understand what are staples and also understand what are common complaints for those type of games. Next tip, innovate within your genre's comfort zone. Introduce unique features that enhance, augment, or complement rather than changing the core gameplay experience. This will allow your game to stand out from the others within your genre, but also not alienate the people who are fans of that genre. Finally, if you are trying to appeal to as many people as possible, then focus on universal themes for your game. Explore broad human experiences. Themes such as friendship, survival, loss, and growth, they resonate well with an audience. These themes transcend specific beliefs and affiliations. While I do believe that there is a time and place for having a very specific and polarizing message, understand that including such polarizing messages is a risk at decreasing your audience size. Anyways, comment below. Are you playing Dragon Age Veilguard? Let me know if it's any good or not. I have a feeling that it's not going to live up to fans of the original Dragon Age. Let's see how well this video ages over time. Wishlist Beware tomorrow. It's coming out very soon, November 11th release date. If you enjoyed this video, give me a like to help boost the algorithm. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get notified for the upcoming videos. Take care. Have a good one. Salam.